Hey everybody, I hope you are doing well. I'm Afefe with Touch by Tarot and Beyond. I'm glad to be here. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I hope you like what you see. Stick around, hit that like and subscribe button. For my subscribers, you all know I appreciate you to the fullest. And my members, like next level, chef's kiss, I really appreciate you. Quick housekeeping note. This Sunday, I offer special perks for members. And happy to do that. That's my offering mutual support, divine reciprocity, right? So this Sunday, we're going to do a live Zoom with me, a private Zoom for members only on Sunday at 3 p.m. If you missed my announcement about that, there is a video for members. You can go to the playlist tab and hit the members only videos and you'll get all the details. It was the most recent one that I did. And also for members, if you didn't know this, there is a playlist. So whenever you've joined my channel, you can access anything on that playlist. Everything that I do restricted to members only, it's on that playlist. So have at it. It's there for you. All right. All right, you all, if you're not familiar with me, my background is a little varied. I'm a former newspaper journalist, so even though I do, I'm all about the spiritual woo-woo, I kind of approach my readings from that perspective. I'm very into the facts. I try to stay pretty grounded as we prepare to go to spirit. But I also am an ATR, priestess, African traditional religion, trained priestess, pagan trained, and I'm just all around. I embrace all cultures, all ethnicities, everything as long as it is in service to light and to the divine and helping us support one another on this human walk. I'm all about it, right? You can, got the Buddha behind me, right? Got the goddess over here. It's just I believe that there are many paths and one central source that is all encompassing. All right, so enough of that. Let's get to a political reading today. Like, we have no shortage of things happening at a lightning pace, and that's not going to stop anytime soon, especially as we head towards the election. A couple of things I want to touch base on and go to spirit on today. Interested to hear how you all feel. I love your comments and I welcome them. I just ask that we keep it respectful to me and to one another. Trump's emails being hacked, according to his campaign. His emails being hacked, some documents being leaked. Apparently, they're saying, according to having to do with some Iranian, something from Iran, etc., etc. What's interesting about that for me, and maybe for many of you as well, is three major media outlets who these documents were leaked to, as I understand it, Politico, the New York Times, and the Washington Post. Bigwigs, right? But none of them are giving the documents up. There are documents apparently related to J.D. Vance's vetting process, almost 300 pages around that, some stuff around Marco Rubio, who knows what else, like some other goodies in there. But interestingly, when we think about, on the one hand, it looks like straight up hypocrisy, right? Because when we go back to the email leaks for Hillary Clinton and how damaging, undeniably damaging that was when that happened with her, and Donald Trump was hooping and hollering and screaming, WikiLeaks, like, let's just, loving it, just applauding the whole situation, telling Russia, go get her, tell us more. And now, of course, he's on the receiving end of something supposedly from Iran and saying, this is horrible, how can we do this? I had two reactions to that in terms of the media. One was, oh my gosh, the media really is in cahoots, because we've been looking at major media like, want side-eyeing lately in some of their decisions and behaviors and coverage. So on the one hand, I was like, oh my God, like, they're not even trying to hide the fact that they are in cahoots, with Donald Trump. But secondly, and this is where I want to get some clarity from spirit, going to use Lenormand cards today, is we already know that the Trump folk are ratcheting up their plans to litigate the election, right? They're going to refuse to try to certify the votes. They've got all sorts of little machinations going on in anticipation of Trump's potential loss. So we know that. I am wondering then if the media's decision not to release these documents is to sort of preempt some of the excuses that Trump's side could make in the event of his loss, to say, here's evidence, plain evidence of election interference, if they prepare to try and take it to the courts. All right, so let's take a look at that. Spirit, please help us understand the reasoning behind the media outlets where these documents were leaked, their decision not to make those documents public, at least for now, right? Why have they decided not to make those documents public, Spirit? Why are these major outlets, New York Times, Washington Post, Political, why are they deciding not to release the documents that were leaked to them concerning Trump's campaign? The tree, again, I'm using a Lieberman deck. The tree, this has to do with a fundamental root of an issue. And so I think right off the bat, Spirit is showing that if they were to, they are concerned with their reputation first and foremost. Let me put it that way. So some of this is CYA, right? Cover yo a dub, right? On behalf of these media outlets. Some of this is CYA because this has to do with their ideas about their own image, basically. All right. We have book, which would be the release of the documents, the actual documents themselves. And what about that? And the lilies. There's a timing element. You know what, y'all? I'm not so sure that we won't see the way these cards are coming, I'm not so sure that we won't see there may be some pressure from other sources pressuring these news outlets to release at least some of the documents, if not all of them. So, or it could be that after the fact, after the election, for whatever reason, there would be sort of the explanatory aspects of why this happened. They might come out. This is a ship coming in. This is the external influences, the international community, the efforts that they are taking to shut this down and make sure, especially as well, from what we understand, the Harris campaign has also been, they've detected attempts to hack their systems as well. So this, I think, is an increased awareness of these possibilities for hacking on both sides, and they're doing what they can to protect their information. The heart of the matter. The heart of the matter is, I think Spirit is saying, the heart of the matter, let me go to tarot for a second. I think the heart of the matter really is, how useful is this information? And I have seen some of the news outlets refer to that. Like it's already public stuff. It's stuff we already know about Vance or Rubio. It wouldn't have been anything enlightening. It wasn't any sort of bombshell. Oh my gosh, the public must know this, or some sort of threat to the public. And the Four of Wands, there's a sense of completion or totality to what they think. More than anything, bottom line, Spirit is saying, more than anything, they want to protect their reputations. They don't want to be perceived as having put their thumbs on the scale in either direction. Either too pro Trump, and we know that we're not fools. We know that there's some of that behind the scenes with a lot of right wing folk buying up media, right? So they don't want to do that. And on the other hand, they don't want to be able to have people or organizations, Trump's people, etc., lawyers, if they litigate this, if they wind up taking this to the courts, be able to point to them, perhaps even drag them into a lawsuit. That's what Spirit said. Drag them into a lawsuit, as in terms of saying they were part of the Hierophant. Saying that they were part of some big organized effort to be a part of election interference. So that's really why the media is at least for now not revealing what these documents are. Okay. All right. Now, one step further on Mr. Trump. So we heard about that that taping, that 2 hour taping with Elon Musk that took forever to get going, right? But one of the comments that has raised a lot of eyebrows that Trump made during that conversation, lisp and all, was that he made the comment about, well, if things don't go his way in the election, that he would have to go to Venezuela, and that he and Elon Musk could hook up in Venezuela. So that's raised some eyebrows, and people are saying, okay, Jack Smith, we hope we heard that. We hope you heard that, because maybe now's the time to go ahead to and get with Tanya Chuck and file some motions, do whatever you got to do to get Trump's passport, because for now he has his passport. I guess he has not been deemed a flight risk. He's running for president, so I guess he has not been deemed a flight risk. But he said point blank. Now, we can always say he's really good at coming back afterwards and say, oh, I was joking, whatever. But I want to take a look and see if, in fact, I'm going to go to tarot for that. If, in fact, if Jack Smith heard that, we know that the hearing before Judge Chutkan got moved. People have interpreted that as a sign as well that Jack Smith really has his work cut out for him in the wake of the immunity ruling from the Supreme Court, because he's got to go back through everything and try and decide what he can still, bring the case on, what still remains strong in the case. And this is the first time that they were supposed to have a hearing on August 16, and he requested the 3-week extension to September 5th now. So, so again, some eyebrows were raised on that, because Jack Smith has just always been so ready. And this is the first time that we've seen him have to request a little additional time. This is extremely difficult, what he's trying to do. But I want to see, Spirit, will Jack Smith at that September 5 hearing, will Jack Smith, or between now and then, will Jack Smith file a motion? Will he make a move to have Trump's passport taken? Will he be deemed a flight risk? Will Donald Trump be deemed a flight risk, and will his passport be confiscated? Will Donald Trump's passport be confiscated? 3 of Swords. He's worried about it. 3 of Cups. His family's worried about it. And the Hermit, that's September. Hermit rules Virgo. I'll show you the cards in a moment. Hermit rules Virgo. So that's the time frame. Queen of Cups. That's that could be the judge, Judge Chutkan. 2 of Pentacles. Knight of Wands. The choice to do it. And the Chariot. Okay, so the Chariot would be him moving. How is the Chariot impacted? That's his ability to move about. And the 8 of Swords. I don't think so, you all. I pulled enough cards that I think it would have been more definitive if he were. The Chariot is what got me, that would be him moving on, getting the heck up out of here, right? Get up on your plane or your horse or your train or whatever you got to do, a boat, get up out of here to try and run. And I have the 8 of Swords, so that's his feeling of if or when Trump loses, that he would feel that angst, like, oh my God, because that's his only way out of all of these lawsuits, of all of this that's come toward him. That's his only way out. So he is completely freaked out about it. Again, I got that Hermit. That would be him going off on his own and setting off on a different journey. The timing element, because the Hermit is ruled by Virgo, so that's around that September time frame when they're going to have that hearing. The Knight of Wands, the 2 of Pentacles, that's deciding, is it doable? How could I go? How could I get there? But what I'm really struck by, you all, is, and I started out with the 3 of Swords and the 3 of Cups. That's his internal process. He's thinking about the win would be the 3 of Cups celebration, and he's worried that he won't get there with that 3 of Swords. He's definitely, he sees the writing on the wall, hands down, he does. But the fact that when I read tarot, when I'm looking at something big, I'm looking for those major arcana. That's how Spirit works with me, the major arcana. that's more definitive. That's more, bring the hammer down kind of energy from spirit. And these energies are not indicating that. The Hermit and Chariot notwithstanding, it's not really indicating that. I don't think, at least at this time, I don't think by the September 5th hearing, because that's what we're looking at, right? Not by that hearing would he be deemed enough of a flight risk to request his passport. All right. So that, I don't see that happening. All right, you all. And finally, let's take a look at the disaster otherwise known as JD Vance. Wow. What a week he's having, or last couple of weeks, right? So I know by now all of you have seen the images of him dressed in drag, apparently at a party back when he was at Yale. And, it's really interesting when you get somebody like George Santos, of all people, to come out in defense of J.D. Vance and basically say, that wasn't drag. Trust me when I say that wasn't even drag, y'all. Because he would know, right? So, for entertainment purposes only, gotta say it. So anyway, those images came out, but also, remember, part of the J.D. Vance and Walls contrast is, or one of the themes was that they can both appeal to blue collar working class voters, right? However, I found out today that a company that apparently J.D. Vance was a major investor in, called Afefe in Kentucky, he invested with, and went all out. Pre-Senate, he withdrew from the company and his investments in it once he went for the Senate, ran for Senate in 2021. But prior to that, he invested heavily in this. This was while he was riding high on the publication of his book, Hillbilly Elegy, right? So he knows everything there ever was to know from the days of Moses forward about the working class, right? So he invested in this company, Afefe, which has just filed for bankruptcy. Or I don't know if just filed, but has filed for bankruptcy, right? Millions and millions of dollars in debt. Was some sort of greenhouses. I didn't have time to do enough research exactly on Afefe, but from what I understand, it was some sort of greenhouses, farming related, food related company. And we have workers that are now coming out because of J.D. Vance, and all the hoopla around him, saying working conditions were horrible. There were workers, people were being carried out in the ambulances because there was lack of hydration. They weren't being furnished water. Workers weren't being furnished water, regular breaks. That temperatures in some of these greenhouses were up to 128 degrees, according to one source that I read. I think it was in Newsweek. I can take my tea. So it was not a pleasant situation. And the when Vance took over, or became a major investor in this company, Afefe, the whole thing was, we're going to bring jobs to Kentucky. We're going to, really help elevate the work and support the middle class. The working class. And, we're here for you. Part of his identity as a businessman at that time, and a capital venturist. You know what I'm trying to say. He was trying to say, look, I'm here for you. I understand and I want to support you. And now it's coming out. It sucked. Big time. And it did not have the impact that it was supposed to have on giving citizens. In fact, they had to go out and hire, guess who? Migrants to work and help keep the company afloat as long as they did. So he's just had quite the week of, these continued revelations that both in his personal life in the past, him being he's an atheist, but now he's a devout Catholic. He was pro LGBTQ, had a very close trans friend apparently at one time who furnished the texts and emails between the two of them, a very warm relationship. Now he's all about, he's against, any kind of gender affirming care, etc., right? Just all these wild swings on the pendulum with this guy. I want to ask, though, to close out today, if he's going to stay on the ticket. There's been some talk, of course, that Trump's been trying to figure out his darndest in the campaign. How, is there any way for us to dump this guy, offload him, and do something else? But judgment. Yeah. There's definitely the recognition, 100%. There's a recognition among Trump and his staff and his campaign staff that they did not make a wise choice. They understood why, on the surface level, why they wanted him, because he seemed to check all the boxes. But now there's Eight of Pentacles. They're working really hard to try and clean this up. And in fact, I think what this means, you all, is we're going to see more of J.D. Vance, not less. There was some talk about whether he would sort of get silenced a little bit, just try to keep him a little bit more under the radar and eke towards November 5th. But I'm not so sure. I think Knight of Wands. Yeah, that's movement and fiery movement. That's him being more blustery. And that's J.D. Vance doubling down, as he has done already, on issues around families having children and things like that. He's not one, like Trump, he's not one to say that's not what I meant, or let me correct it, or perhaps there was a better way for me to get the point across. That's not his style. We're going to see more of him. And there's Temperance. Now that's an interesting energy. Because that's a compromise. That's alchemy. That's things changing. That's two opposite beliefs or systems that somehow come together and create something new, find a way to meet in the middle. This is bipartisanship in political terms, right? He's going to try and he's going to try and tweak his image, his messaging, to appear a little less flaky and a little less like what he really is. And he recognizes, he's thinking now, Ace of Wands. Thank you for the confirmation, Spirit. When I get my aces, that's when I'm in the middle of a question. That for me is Spirit saying, the guide saying, we're on track. He's thinking, J.D. Vance is thinking long term, and he's thinking what happens, in the what if scenario, if or when, that's how we're going to put it, or when Trump loses, what happens to him, right? Because he's young. Guy just turned August 2nd. He just turned 40 years old. He's really young, and he's thinking, I'm not so sure that I should have put all my eggs to a Pentacles, that weighing things out and making some decisions. Exactly. J.D. Vance is not going to leave the ticket. I don't see him leaving the ticket. They can't get rid of him at this point. He is going to try and tweak his messaging just enough to not come off as extreme or as flaky as he has been. He's going to work on that a little bit. He'll be well coached. And it won't even be by Trump's folks. These are some other folks that have been working with him. The Peter Thiels of the world and others who are behind the Project 2025 folks. Those who are really driving this whole engine behind Donald Trump. So J.D. Vance is going to get some coaching from them. Because they still want him and need him and see him. That Ace of Wands is really pinging me. They do see his value moving forward post-Trump. With whatever is left of the Republican Party, if we even still call it that by that time. All right, you all? All right, I hope that was helpful. Have a great day. Take really good care of yourselves. And remember, as I've been saying with these political videos, remember to breathe. Keep your shoulders back and really relaxed, right? Take in a deep breath. Stay calm. We're going to make it. All right, I'll talk to you real soon. Bye.